Yo, welcome back to Containing Luxury. On this video, Danny's going to be intruding on the intro. What are we actually filming today, Dan? On this video, we're going to be discussing what I've spent so far on our 2-container house build, which is really a 3-container house build, but we'll explain that better. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to be discussing what I've actually spent so far on the 2 40-foot main house and then the single 40-foot guest house. And we'll show you a bunch of the designs of what that really entails, but overall it's 960 square total. Wow, Blake knows speak good. It is 960 total square feet of indoor living space. However, we have a covered carport that's probably another 1,000 square feet, and we have a rooftop deck, which is another 640 square feet. So if you added everything together of covered or outdoor living space, we're really somewhere in the 2,500 square foot range. So take that into consideration when we're really discussing. We only have under 1,000 square feet of interior square footage or under air conditioning, that we do have quite a bit of other covered space and outdoor space. So with that in consideration, let's get to the hard numbers. Before we ever even got started, we were on a pretty big slope, so I had to spend some money doing some grading work. Now, I own a Bobcat, and I was able to subcontract directly to the trucking company. So keep that in mind, that some of these figures are obviously going to be lower because I own and or operate a lot of the equipment we're using. So with all the lot grading, I still spent $6,500 just on road base to kind of build up the pad where we were going to be constructing the house. Now in hindsight, I could have probably done a couple things differently, maybe save some money, but I still have some money I need to spend in that category. So realistically, I'm expecting that to go up to about $8,000 by the time I'm done with that. For the 3 used containers, self-delivered. I own the trailer. I went and picked them up, delivered them myself. I spent $2,800 per 40-foot container. They're all high cubes. That totaled out to $8,400. For the foundation work, we again in-house everything. However, I did need to rent an auger, a rock auger, Bobcat attachment that drilled the holes because we're building on pretty much solid rock out there. And for the concrete work and the forms that we required, pretty much everything, even we put rebar in there in the concrete forms. So it came out to about $1,600. The equipment, which I was just saying, we needed to rent a lull, a big 10,000 pound lull that was able to actually crane the 40-foot containers into place, and also the Bobcat attachment. I spent $2,800 in rental fees, and that was just for one day. So this equipment is not cheap, so you want to make sure you plan everything very strategically. Now, welding work. Now this is an all-encompassing scope of work, and it was very hard to track what I actually spent as far as that section was concerned, because we have a massive carport roofing structure. We have a lot of welding that was involved, and we made all the stairs and different structural stuff. We cut off the front doors and turned them into awnings. So we did a lot of welding on this site. But just in that scope of work directly paid to the welder, we paid $17,000. Now, the metal that we bought, that was just labor paid to the welder. Now, we spent $11,200 just on metal that we spent at Triple S Steel. That actually has gone up since then. I don't think I've updated this. I think between now with the roofing panels and everything, I should be a little bit closer to about $13,200. Framing. We did everything in-house. We framed it ourselves. I went over that video with you guys. I spent about $700 on that metal framing. But what I didn't say in that video is I paid labor to guys. So for me, it actually ended up costing me about $2,250 after the labor and the materials. So that was just the material cost we did in that framing video. This is actually everything that I paid, even doing some of the work myself. Now, electrical work so far, I've spent $1,500. That's just in miscellaneous parts, wire boxes. We did all of that electrical, the interior work ourselves. but that section's probably gonna go up quite a bit once I start doing mounting my service inlets on the outside, but we'll get to that section because we're doing something a little differently. Plumbing, we spent $5,500 with our plumber to run, we needed to rent again another machine, saw cut all the way up the hill. Even though we're gonna make this thing off grid, I have backups to everything. So I'm gonna have sewer lines, water lines, electrical lines, all there just in case I need to connect to them and wanna make my life simpler because sometimes off grid can be a little bit of a pain. Next section, drywall. I spent $2,500 in drywall for labor and materials into just hanging the container. On finishing, I'm expecting to spend about $2,500 as well into finishing. But I've yet to get that number dialed in, and I'm waiting for a subcontractor to get me that number, but I do enough of this that I would bet that we're gonna be probably somewhere in this $2,500 range. Now, concrete. This was a scope we've already completed, and just the interior of the 40-foot, we again, if you watch our concrete video, it's got polished concrete floors. We have an entire rooftop concrete deck. Now, I still have concrete patios to pour. I've got a pad that I need to pour. So just in the rooftop deck and inside on the floors, I've spent $8,000. So that's gonna go up quite a bit more. Flooring, now the only unit that I actually have flooring in is the 40-foot guest house because that's gonna be a model for what the new 40-foot containers that we're gonna be mass producing, hopefully. That one, we have vinyl floors that are 100% waterproof, and it's gonna cost me about, it's 320 square feet at $2.50 per square foot, came out to $800. That's, again, materials only. I'm gonna install it, so that should be fairly accurate as far as what it's gonna cost me. I've already picked out the product. That's about where it is. Windows and doors. We used all storefront glass. If you watch our window video, that was a major pain, but still it had nothing to do with the cost. I still paid $20,000 just in windows and doors. Appliances wasn't cheap. I spent almost $6,000, $5,900 in appliances. We went with the black stainless steel. That's washing machine, dryer, fridge. That's it. Oh, stove and microwave. I didn't want a dishwasher. I actually don't even use my dishwasher in my house. It does a horrible job. And if you've ever done your research, Energy Star rated means that they take out the heating element that dries the dishes. So they always come out soaking wet, and that's your Energy Star. Cabinetry. So I kind of brushed on this before with you guys. The cabinetry for just the one kitchen on the inside is $10,500. I ordered some cool matte black custom cabinetry directly from California. Super cool company. We'll get into them in future videos, but really like the built-ins and the products that they offer. I think it was actually, believe it or not, even though that sounds like a lot of money, it's really not that much. We've done condos with similar sized kitchens and seen people spend $30,000 or $40,000 just on the cabinets. So $10,500, it is a lot of money, but we've supplied the same amount for a lot more money. So countertops, I've yet to get this price because they're gonna need to come in and template, and I don't know what countertops I'm gonna have made, but I'm giving myself an allowance of about $3,500 for all the countertops. I'm pretty good at that number because I do a ton of these, and I am using a product I buy a ton of. So I'm using concrete gray quartz. It looks just like concrete. It's relatively inexpensive for big jumbo slabs, and I'm pretty sure I can get it anywhere. So that I'm expecting to spend about $3,500 for all of my tops being made. Paint. Paint was actually a sore subject for me because it has been a mess out there. I have a lot of work that needs to be cleaned, redone, and it's been very expensive. So I've paid $3,800 to a painter, and I spent about $4,200 on paint with Sherwin-Williams. In hindsight, I literally might be going backwards, and I sprayed the last container we built with Bear oil base, just from Home Depot. The product went on super nice. There's no runs, and it's been beat up. It traveled across the nation, and it's holding up absolutely fine. I spent all this money on this insane product. It was a pain in the ass, pain in the butt, bleep out myself. It was a pain for the application, the painter, I don't know, it was real heavy spots, really thin spots. I used to own a painting company, so I should have just painted it myself. It would have been a lot smoother of a process and I wouldn't have nearly as much to go back and fix. But that cost me $3,800 to him and $4,200 in paint, which is astronomical. I think you should be able to get that entire number down to about $5,000. Interior, I'm gonna spend about $850. I'm gonna paint it myself. That's not $850 is pretty much all the products I'm gonna need. Tape, plastic, roller naps. I'm using a couple different products. I'm gonna have some stains. I've got some woodwork to do. So about $850 is what I expect to spend on materials. If you were gonna pay somebody to do that, I would probably tack about $2,000 onto that. Now, keep in mind, that's if you're mimicking our build, that would be a number, not for a single 40 foot. Okay, millwork, doors and baseboards. That I'm expecting, I'm again giving myself an allowance. I've done some shopping. I have a pretty good idea of what I'm gonna be using. That number might go up, but I gave myself an allowance of $1,500. If I end up going to these crazy glass door systems that I really like, that we just did in a commercial building, I might end up spending quite a bit more than that. But at $1,500, I have a lot of options and I think I can make that work. I might just build some barn doors for it, but we'll see. Decking, composite decking. I ordered this. I don't ever want to deal with restaining or replacing rotted deck boards, any of that stuff. I have Trex decking at my house here in Florida. It gets beat up by sun all day long. It looks identical to the day I bought it. So I again went with a composite decking. It's really expensive if you do your research on it. There's no way around it. So the stairs that I have being made and the Trex deck boards, it's not Trex, it's a different company, but it's similar to Trex. I spent $3,500 just on the boards needed for the landings and the stairs. That's the only place that's even going anywhere. But $3,500. Labor decking, I'm expecting about $750 I'm gonna spend between paying the guys. There's also gonna be some miscellaneous stuff in there, like I'm gonna need some self-tapping screws to drill through the heavy gauge metal that we have out there. Probably I might even have to pre-drill some of it because we have some really thick stairs. Plumbing, again, so my previous number of plumbing for bringing all those lines up the hill is actually all of my plumbing fixtures on the inside. My shower pans, shower valves, sinks, faucets, garbage, or I'm not putting a garbage disposal in, but all my sinks and my faucets and all that kind of stuff. That came out to about $5,500. Now I have to pay a plumber to saw cut and do all my roughs, my undergrounds coming up. That's gonna be another $5,000. So my previous one, I misspoke. This one is $5,000 for all the saw cutting and all that kind of stuff. Now, the last and final, this is dependent upon if you're trying to go off grid, which we are, and I love container houses being off grid. So, solar. This number I think is actually really low. I met with Willpower Solar. Once we get to the solar, I'll put a link to all their info. They're a company out of San Antonio. Really cool. We've worked together. We've been trying to, design and make the most cost-effective off-grid system that we could possibly come up with. I think he's done a fantastic job keeping the price down, and it came out to $17,000 for a 6 kilowatt off-grid system. We've got plenty of battery storage, and he made sure to get like top of the line. He went through all the reviews and warranties and tried to get stuff that was like, made sure it was gonna last, because there's definitely cheaper versions of stuff, but we went with some really high-end stuff, and he got me 405 watt panels, which are crazy. So anyway, if you totaled up all of those things that I just went over, we would come out to, here comes the money. Here we go, $152,550. Ouch. So that's what I'm personally spending being GC, doing tons of work at the house. That doesn't even cover landscaping, driveway, sod. I've got, landscape lighting. I've got a lot more stuff that I really need to do out there to get this thing finished. I would realistically think that it's probably gonna end up around $175,000, which when you think about it, it's only a 1,000 square foot house. You're talking $175 a square foot for interior living space. That's pretty high. However, I have floor to ceiling glass. I have custom matte black, soft close, crazy cabinetry. I have really high-end finishes, glass walls, so when you think about it, that number does seem very high as far as price per square foot for building a cost-effective home. However, I also have about 1,500 square feet of outdoor living space or covered space that I'm using as a garage or storage area. And also we used very high-end finishes, where if you had a builder come out and build with these types of finishes, your house is not gonna even be close to the $200 a square foot range. I think you're looking like California builder style, and you're gonna be probably in the 250, well, sorry, California would be like 3,000 a square foot. Anywhere else in the country for a high-end floor to ceiling glass, that kind of look, you're probably in the $250 to $300 a square foot. So, and some people might chime in and be like, no way, I couldn't even build it for 500 a square foot. So, I think with the pricing, it sounds like a lot. The price per square foot breaks down to a lot, but I did some stuff that's very custom. It's gonna look really cool, and I think you guys are gonna love it when it's done. But it still hurts. $175,000. It's a lot of money to dump into a dream project. So with that being said, we hope everyone, again, we're an educational series, so I'm literally building all this stuff and sharing all this information with you guys. So, anything you can do to contribute back to our channel, share our videos, make sure when you subscribe to hit the notification bell. That's about it. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Cabinetry out!